Hi friends, this is Muhammad Jibran and welcome to our C Sharp tutorials. In this video, I'll be explaining about the variables. So, what are variables? To explain that, let us go back to our mathematics class from our school, and let me show you a basic example for that. Suppose you have y equals 5, and there is an equation which says that x equals y plus 2. So you can figure out the value of x from this equation, which is obviously 7. So over here what you see, x and y, they both are known as variables in mathematics, the same way they are known as variables in our programming languages. So in the programming languages, you can consider, or you can simply imagine variables as the bucket or the containers to hold certain values. Over here our bucket y will hold the value of 5, and the value or the bucket x will hold the value of 5 plus 2. Okay, so likewise you can create n number of buckets, and you can store the values, you can remove the values, you can again replace the values, you can do a lot of stuff with those buckets, and I will tell you they are very useful in any programming languages. So now let's try to write the same program in our Visual Studios. So for that, I will need to tell my program that I need two buckets, or I need two memory slots in my memory to store some values. So to do that, I will say int x, and I will say int y. So over here what I have accomplished is I have created two memory spots, or two memory buckets in my memory. Int is the data type of which says my .NET which type of value I will be storing in my these two variables. By declaring int, I am saying to the .NET that this is an integer data type x, in which I will be storing the integer numbers or the whole numbers, and I cannot put any other number like decimal numbers or the statements into my x variable, as it is an integer data type. Like the same goes with the y. Now after that, what I can do is I can initialize the value of y to 5. Okay, again semicolon, as you all know. After that, I will say my x will be equal to y plus 2. What I have did over here, now I have just initialized the value, or I have kept some value, given some value into my bucket, that is 5 over here. And after that, I had said over here that my x bucket should hold the value of y plus 2. What is y? Y is 5. Okay, so after that, let me write this stuff. Console dot write line, I will write away the value of x, what the value x is holding in it, and after that I will say console dot read line. Okay, so now let me just run this application to show you what comes. Here is our solution, that is 7. Okay, so now what it did, it added the value of bucket x with the value, it added the value of bucket y with 2, and it's shown as the result as 7. If I hit enter, I will go back to my application where I have initialized the value and I have added them. Okay, so integer is only one data type. We have couple of dozens data type in the C sharp, like string, float, bool, and many are there. So there is another way to initialize these two variables, is in place of doing it in two different lines, I can do it in a single lines like this. Okay, so now I can initialize x and y in a single line. Okay, it reduces the amount of code which you have to write, and again I can remove this line, and doing it, once declaring it and one time initializing it, I can declare y and I can initialize it at the same time. So now you can see I have removed around 2 lines of my code, and my code has become a bit smaller. So this is how you can remove your code, or you can reduce your code. So now there are some different data types also, like we have string, we have bool, we have float, we have double. So in this video, after that I will be showing you about the string. Let me use the multi-line comments to comment it out. And now I will use the variable string, or the bucket string, whose name will be name. Okay, so now I will just copy and paste this same stuff, and in place of x I will write name. Okay, and then now I will initialize my name to like Adam, and I will try to print this thing so it shows me Adam. Okay, so what has happened over here is simply I have told my .NET to create a memory space for this variable of data type string, whose value is Adam, and then after that I had just printed that name using the write line statement. That's very simple. You know about the write line statement, or the write line method, what it does. So that was simple. So now I will try to explain you about the type conversions. Suppose if I have here one more variable saying whose name is num, and I will assign its value to 7. Okay, and then after that I will say plus num. Okay, now what I'm doing over here is I am concatenating the string Adam with the value of num, that is 7. Here the plus symbol will not add both of them, it will just concatenate them. So I know you will not be understanding what is that, so let me just show you what do I mean by concatenation. Okay, here you can see Adam 7. So what's that? Adam is the value of name, what we have given in the variable name, and then we have given the num. The value of num is 7. So whatever write line did is it just concatenated, or it just wrote these two different variables together, and it has given us. So behind the scene what happened is the .NET converted, or it converted the integer to string. Okay, basically what you should do is after the num you should write to string. Okay, this is how you should be working with the, but as we did not wrote this .to string, the .NET was so intelligent, it understood what he should do, and it did that stuff for us. If we run it again, it will show us the same output, no changes will be there. Okay, so now let's try to do the vice versa. Let's try to do it with the integer. So now let's declare one more variable of the data type int, say final. Okay, now final should be equal to num plus name. Okay, now it should not work. As you can see, it's giving me a nice error, and if I go down and I read this error, it says cannot implicitly convert string to int. And like we had this method over here to convert integer type to string, we don't have anything over here to convert it to the integer. We cannot convert Adam to integer. Okay, so that would be a fatal error in your program. So even if you know the .NET framework will do this .to string for you, but you should not leave it for the .NET framework. Every time you should write .to string, you should not wait for the, or you should not rely on the compiler's conversion. And as far as this case over here is concerned, there is no way you can convert it, but what you can do is you can just remove this Adam, and you can type any other number over here, and you can just add both the values over here, but still it will give you the error over here, but just to remove that I will say int dot parse. Okay, so what does this parse method is doing, we will talk about that later on, but right now this will do our job, and we can print the final over here. If we run the application, we should get 5 plus 7, that's 12. Okay, so now what we have did over here, we have added, or we have just added the name, a string variable, and num, the integer variable. So this is how you do it. Hope you like the video, and thanks for watching it.